Afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Happenings Now. I'm your host, Jennifer Dunn, and today we are going to talk about the Connections newsletter and the other activities that will be happening here at the South Centers. We'll also be speaking with my co-host, Bradford Sherman. Stay tuned. Hi everyone, welcome back to Happenings Now. Joining me is Bradford Sherman, my co-host, and we're going to discuss the Connections newsletter.
Jennifer, it's a pleasure as always to be on your program here, Happenings Now. And one of my things I come on here most often is to talk about the Connections newsletter because I make it, editor, creator, whatever it is you want to call. I make it quarterly here at the South Centers, and the function of it is to just let everybody know kind of what's going on here at South Centers, and this is really cool. I got this remote control, there we are, and I am going to be able to actually take you through the newsletter as Patrick has it up on our screen there, and we're just going to kind of browse it together and talk about what's going on.
And this is the first time for this technology?
I think it's the first time we've had it working this well. So.
Well, please. I've got to see parts of it and skim parts of it, so I can't wait to get the detailed tour of the newsletter.
All right. And as I say, every quarter we do one of these, and this is our spring edition. It came out, I'm thinking February or March, and we're actually getting ready to have another one coming up here in July, so be looking for that as well. On our first page here, Tour de Farm, as I call it, kind of a take on Tour de France. This is an article that was submitted by Christy Welch, and she is our direct marketing and agricultural specialist here at South Centers. And this was just kind of talking about the Agritourism Conference that she held, and that was held up at Mays Valley Winery in Hartville, Ohio on March 25th.
And I believe they had like 100 farms in attendance. I know it was a very large gathering.
Absolutely, yeah, 100 farms. And I can tell you, as I work over in the main office there, we were getting all kinds of phone calls from people interested in attending this, and we were like, wow, this thing is really going to be popular. I think it just really speaks as to how popular agritourism is growing in Ohio. And before we went on the air, I was just talking to Christy about that. So she's very passionate about agritourism. It's a great way for farms to diversify their offerings a little bit. We had a lot of rain this year.
Yes, we have.
And some people, their crops might not be doing so well. How about an agritourism thing to kind of diversify a little bit and have another revenue stream? So it's something that's really growing and very popular in Ohio right now. So I thought, that would be a great thing to lead off our newsletter with. So we did that, and just kind of moving forward. Rafiq Islam, my buddy Rafiq, he runs the Soil and Water Program, Soil, Water, and Bioenergy Resources Program, to be exact, here at South Centers. And he wrote a couple of articles for us, including one on the CTC annual conference that he attended, in which he spoke about healthy soils, healthy food, and healthy people, all things that are very dear to his heart and his research that he does here at South Centers. And we also had a little get to know you about, and I'm not going to try to pronounce Jackie's full name there, but Jackie is what we called him. He was a visiting scholar from the Chinese Academy of Agricultural Sciences, and Jackie was just a really cool guy. I don't know if you had a chance to talk with him much.
I did get a chance to meet him.
He was on with Tom Worley on one of our shows here, and got to talk a little bit about himself, but a really nice kid. Was only here for a few, maybe like a month or so.
It was a short time.
Yeah, very short time, but we did enjoy having Jackie here at South Centers the time that he was with us. Moving on in our newsletter, Appalachia Cooperates. This is a new initiative that is being ran by our Center for Cooperatives here at South Centers, and They've held one meeting so far. I believe that was down in the coal fields of West Virginia.
I believe it was too.
Okay, and I know they're getting ready to hold another one. And this first one that this article was really successful. They had an even larger turnout than what they thought. And let me just see what it says. They had several speakers here. It was held on March 22nd. It was actually at the West Virginia University Economic Development Center in Charleston. It was held in Charleston. And Appalachia Cooperates, I guess what the initiative is all about is trying to get people thinking about maybe we're involved in something that would work well as a cooperative, kind of getting them thinking about the cooperative model
Correct.
a little bit. And that's what that's all about. So moving right along. Look how nice that works.
Very nice.
Dwayne Rigsby, a no stranger to anybody who watches our videos.
No, he is not. He's kind of a jack of all trades here at the South Centers.
He is, and that's what it's
he
about.
was our spotlight employee of the month, wasn't he?
Yeah. What I like to do, and this was an idea I came up with shortly after I came here, was kind of get a series of articles talking about each employee, and kind of a little get to know you piece. And it kind of helped me out because I've only been here for 1 year. I was like, well, I'm just going to sit down, talk to people, and do a little feature story on them. And this time it was Dwayne's turn to be in the spotlight there. And like you said, he is a fellow who's kind of a jack of all trades here. If you have a computer that's broken, or let's say that our air conditioning is not working.
If I have anything broken, I call Dwayne.
Yeah,
That's the first person I call.
Right. And problem solved is what I call it, because that's, you have a problem, he'll find a way to, to solve it. So Dwayne was kind enough to sit down with me and just talk a little bit. Did you know he wanted to be a park ranger?
Originally, yes.
He wanted to be a park ranger, and somehow he is here solving problems for us at South Centers.
I believe he started here when the center first started because of his agricultural background and the fact he wanted to be a park ranger, and he just kind of hung around. He's been here, 25? He's been here 25 years, I think.
Yep, he's been here
25,
since the
27.
beginning. We have 4 employees that have been here since the very beginning.
Yes.
When you come here, you don't want to leave. It's great. So Dwayne was the topic of that this month. This one, when you turn the page and you come to our MEP section, which stands for our Manufacturing Extension Partnership, this article was talking about diversity and just how important that is in any organization, and how MEP can help with that. But I think the more interesting thing to talk about with this is the fact it was authored by a lady named Dorinda Byers. And Dorinda was recently hired to be the program, please help me out, Jennifer, program manager?
Program manager, yes.
Okay. Program manager of the MEP program at South Centers. So she's kind of going to be overseeing that. And I can tell you from her interview, which we got to watch her give a presentation, I was extremely impressed with her passion and her knowledge for manufacturing.
It is her niche. She is very much entrenched, I guess, in the trenches here and what's going on in Appalachia as far as manufacturing and attracting new manufacturers, which means new jobs to the area.
Right. And really...
And also helping, I guess I should say most importantly, also helping our manufacturers that are already here.
Right.
If they have issues, if they need to grow, whatever it is, Dorinda is the person to start with.
And it's finding ways to do things more efficiently.
Yes.
Anything from production to, maybe a way to make your website more attractive, to get the word out about what you do.
To get your products out.
Yeah. So.
If you want to export, she can hook you up with the right people that will help you move your product out of the States if you're interested in exporting.
Right. And another exciting thing about the MEP program here at South Centers, I think it's growing right now more than any other program we have here because of some funding that became available, and now we are expanding. We're hiring several new people to work in the MEP program here, so exciting things
We actually have a program assistant opening and then another growth advisor position
Right,
opening,
and the growth advisor
is
still open.
Yeah. It is.
It's still open. But yeah, so a couple new staff members will be coming on board to help with MEP.
Yes.
So anyway, probably more than what that article was about, but I just get excited when I see things happening.
That's okay to see growth and see new things.
Absolutely. So moving right along, my good friend Han Peng Wang, he is the leader of our aquaculture program, our principal scientist here at South Centers, and he submitted a few articles, one of which he was talking about faster growing all-female yellow perch for the aquaculture industry. And some people might ask, well, why is that important? Why is all-female yellow perch important? And I can tell you from editing a lot of Han Peng's manuscripts, I have become a little bit more educated.
You just finished a book for him not too long ago, didn't you?
900-page book.
Yes,
I did. But you pick up a little bit of knowledge just from doing that kind of stuff. And I can tell you that all female yellow perch it's preferred because females grow larger and grow faster than their male counterparts in yellow perch. And that's why it is such a big deal when you can produce an all-female stock of fish.
Yes.
So anyway, that is what he is talking about in this article. And he also talks about a couple of new scholars that came on board here at South Centers. OCARD, which stands for the Ohio Center for Aquaculture Research and Development. I nailed that.
Yes.
Now, I know Rafita is from Malaysia, I believe, and we just call him Ding. Ding Quan, let's see, Ding Kun. I probably said that wrong, I apologize. But they are the newest scholars here working with our aquaculture program. And we just did a little bit of a write-up on them. Have you got a chance to meet with them much?
I have. I've seen them in passing. Unfortunately, I have not had the chance to sit down because I'm in a different building.
Right. Work in different buildings.
We work in different buildings. That makes it a little difficult.
They work right across the hallway from me, so I see them.
But I have seen two new shiny faces here on the campus.
Right. And that's the cool thing about South Centers, too, is it seems like we're always having new people coming and going. And it's, a lot of times it's visiting scholars from other countries. And that is just so cool to be able to be exposed to other cultures.
Yes.
And you learn so much from them. And it's, here in our area of the state in Appalachia, we don't have a whole lot of diversity.
We do not, and even I have learned so much because I do a lot of the event planning and the food coordination, just different cultural backgrounds and dietary restrictions and things like that. It's always, it's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel blessed to be at South Centers and be able to, interact and learn as much as I do from some of our visiting folks. And that's a good picture.
That's a very good picture of them.
I took that picture. It's posed, but that's okay. Dr. Gary Gow helps run our specialty crops program here along with Brad Bergerford. And Gary submitted an article just kind of giving a little update on his program, how everything's going. You can see a picture of Ryan Slaughter and Peng Fei Wang and Ricardo Medina is his last name, working down there in the fields.
And I know I did actually get to read this article in depth because I'm the kind of backyard gardener, so I wanted to see what the newest and latest things were as far as blueberry research. So in the article, he does talk about soil content and what you need, pH levels. And even if you don't pick up the newsletter or have access to it, you can always Google South Centers. We will give you the web address here, but if you just remember, Google South Centers and click on the horticultural tab, and it will take you to all this information.
Right, and then that would be a great resource for people wanting to do the backyard gardening like you talk about. And then if you actually want a copy of this newsletter, we have a different link where you can download the whole thing, and we'll talk about that as we get through here. So that's it. That's actually the end of the newsletter. This was a 12-pager, and last time when we had our Achievements edition, that was in the winter, it was 28 pages.
That was a very long one.
That was a very big one, but that's kind of our big yearly issue in which we kind of brag about some of the cool things that are going on here at South Centers, and by the time that we get to spring, everybody's like kind of wore out from all the work we put into the other one, so it's a little bit shorter of an issue. But the summer issue is going to be coming up, and I'm sure that people are going to furnish me with a lot of good stuff for that as well.
Correct, because we have all the upcoming field nights going on in the farm. So it's really kind of a quiet month. The month of June is, because as Bradford said, we are been through winter. Spring is a short month. We have everybody out on the farm that are planting crops and doing research to get ready for all the field nights that go on through the summer months. And again, just Google South Centers and look at our website.
Yeah, and and once you get to the South Centers website, I believe if you go to the tabs across the top, there's one that says About Us. It's kind of like the last tab. You go down through there, you should see Connections Newsletter. You can click on that to see the HTML version, or if you want to download your very own copy and print it out, you can do that as well. And there's archives of some of our older editions as well. So thank you so much, Jennifer, for having me on to promote the newsletter.
It's always nice to go through it, and for people who don't get a chance to read it, it's to give them a chance to hear the highlights of what's happened.
Right, and you know what, and it might strike a chord with someone and say, yeah, I want to hear more about that than what we can just summarize here quickly. So yeah, I think it's a good thing that we have. So, and another one coming up in the end of July, so be watching for it.
Will do. Well, thank you so very much, Bradford.
Well, thank you for having me on.